David Orr. I'm the Vice President of Delivery at 2i. And my role is very much focused on working with the clients to make sure that we do what we need to, we deliver a good service for them, and we get the right people in the right place at the right time, for a real focus on value-adding innovation and making sure we improve what we do for the clients and they can recognise that value that we bring. A number of things inspired me. I think if you look across the industry, there's a lot of really good work being undertaken. For example, the likes of the TMAP body of knowledge, really good stuff there. We're focused on bringing that into what we do at 2i, and people like Rick Marcellus are helping to bring this information to people like us that we can look to deploy these good practices. And that's quite inspiring, and we want to look at how we can apply that. There's also other things as well, like what's going on in the industry. So we've seen a number of significant failures in recent times. So I had one at Birmingham University with an Oracle implementation last year. Most people have seen the Post Office Horizon scandal. So these things are really important, and ultimately there's an impact on people, whether it be employees or clients, customers. So there's a lot of impact that can happen there, and we want to help avoid that. So that's kind of what's inspired me. 2i, we're passionate about quality, and I've always been passionate about that. So it's the passion that makes me want to talk about it. Yes, there's a number of them. I think the first thing to really focus on with this blog was around movements like what we've seen in the NHS, where the focus on prevention rather than cure, for example. People have become familiar with that and started to see a significant reduction in smoking over the years, and that focus on preventing the cause rather than the effect helps to make a number of benefits to the people themselves, but also from the NHS's point of view, there's less people coming in. That's a direct correlation with smoking. That was quite important, but in terms of kind of IT delivery, we've got so many disasters that have happened over the years, and one of the ones that's come to light recently with the Mr. Bates versus the Post Office drama is on people's minds there, and ultimately quality is something that's there to help drive the business forward. So it doesn't need to be high quality necessarily, it needs to be an appropriate level of quality within the business's constraints so that they can make the right decisions and put in place appropriate software that really does meet their users' needs and helps them get to the market as quickly and as effectively as possible with their products and services that they want to implement. It's a good way of thinking through the challenge. A lot of organisations and delivery teams still tend to focus on testing as the only quality activity. But what the PDR thinking tool helps you to do is to look beyond testing, what other quality practices you can bring in. And with a greater emphasis on prevention, it brings the team together to focus on the quality of the requirements, the designs, the risks, and really looking at all types of quality characteristics. It's not just about what product or service does, it's also about how well it does it, how easy is it to use, how accessible is it. So it gives a greater focus to the full breadth of these quality characteristics from the outset. And when it comes to detection and recovery, they're both important as well, but the key is, well, one of the keys is certainly to get more automation there so you can detect things more quickly and effectively, and it's more repeatable and allows the people to be freed up to focus more on higher value activities like exploring the product and getting the business involved to conduct some validation. And recovery is also very important, because in the event that something does go wrong in production, you want to be able to recover quickly without any loss of data, with minimal interruption to the service, and to protect your business reputation and also the users as well. So it's really important that we get a focus on recovery and the kind of non-functional characteristics there as well that we want to put in place to help ensure that the product works as well as we need it to, and it operates effectively in the production environment. In my experience, I think what tends to happen is that all programs of work and projects operate within certain constraints. So they have a specific budget, they want to release the product and services by a particular point in time. They have a risk profile and a risk appetite for how they want to bring those changes through. And as part of that, those kind of factors make up what's an appropriate level of quality for them based on those constraints. I think it's quite easy to look at those things as if you have to make a trade-off between them. And if you make trade-offs, sometimes you might make short-term decisions that maybe get a product into production a little bit more quickly, which might be the right decision to do at the time, but sometimes it can have an impact on the longer term. So if we put things that aren't quite fit for purpose and aren't ready into the environment, we might get negative feedback from customers, or we might find it harder to sustain the rate of change that's required for this product. So if we want to release something, say, every day or every week or every 2 weeks, and that requires the quality to be pretty good, because if we're at any time we introduce a change, we need to make sure that we don't adversely impact what was already in the system, the product. So I think that's some of the challenges that we tend to face. In terms of how we can mitigate it, one way of doing it is to take a quality-focused approach where you start to look at how you can build in quality from the outset of the program. And to help with that, you really want people who understand what's required to make that work, what practices can be brought in, but they also need to be able to influence the relevant stakeholders. So senior leadership needs to be engaged from the outset, and we need to get a view as to what their perspective is in quality. So what does quality mean to them, and what is their risk appetite? And then that really needs to inform what we do thereafter. But ultimately, everybody who's involved in these deliveries needs to be thinking about the full breadth of the quality characteristics from the outset. So it's not just what functionality will this tool have, what will it do, it's how well will it work, how accessible will it be, how resilient is it. All these factors are important, and they need to form part of the delivery process and the quality assurance and testing activities alongside that as well. Yeah, the quality orchestrator was introduced in the TMAT body of knowledge, and it's a new role that the likes of Rick Marcellus and Wouter Rutkin have put in place, particularly in larger organisations where they've maybe got multiple delivery teams. They might be using a delivery approach like the Scaled Agile framework. So let's say there could be 5, 6, 7 teams there working on particular products, but the orchestrator's role is really to look across all the products, interfaces, applications, services that are there, and understand the business processes that go end to end. That then positions the orchestrator to work with these individual teams to look at how they can organise their elements or their component parts of these end-to-end processes. So there should be appropriate testing at that kind of application or component level. There should also be a level of testing that's undertaken end-to-end, and the quality orchestrator helps the teams organise that from start to finish, and will help with some of the collaboration around drawing out the risks as well and getting the right people in the right place at the right time. But they also help with one other key element, which is the test environments and data that's needed to support the end-to-end business processes. So that can be managed by the orchestrator or a kind of shared services team in that type of environment where it's a larger client. So that's how the orchestrator can help, and we certainly think it's a very important role that can add quite a lot of value in these larger implementations of the likes of the Scaled Agile framework. Automation is definitely very important now. We've got the tooling and the infrastructure that enables you to do a lot more testing, a lot more quickly, and to bring that through the delivery process in a much faster way than we ever could before. So the importance is getting that in place in the first instance, and that allows you to be able to to automate the appropriate sets of tests. You want to be automating things that are repetitive tasks, that somebody that can make mistakes on, reduce those mistakes. Also around regression risk as well, so if we're wanting to implement the solution and then change it quite regularly, you need automation there to support with those changes. It gives you the chance to cover what the system already has in place, plus the new changes, with a combination of an automation and an exploratory based approach. So automation is going to be key to finding the issues quickly and effectively and flagging them up through automated alerting and reporting. When it comes to recovery, that's really important as well, because in the olden days, for want of a better expression, it used to be quite difficult to introduce automation to support things like recovery, resilience, and there was a lot of kind of manual activities to restart servers and go into physical infrastructure and actually undertake the actions against that infrastructure. Whereas now you can do that through fully automated means that gives you the chance to run through things as almost infrastructure as code, if you like. So it gives you the feedback much more quickly, and it gives you the confidence that you can apply those automated processes in production. So that's really the key for the recovery element of it. I think end-to-end quality is one of the principles of the more modern delivery approaches like DevOps and the scaled agile frameworks. Everybody should be kind of bought into that. But one of the challenges is you've got the teams working in specific areas of the product and specific features, and it's quite difficult to line them up to work in combination with each other to look end to end. So one of the ways of doing it is through the quality orchestrator role. That role is there to really understand the end-to-end business processes and to work with these different teams to understand the risk profile and the requirements and how that plays a part in the business processes, and then bring that through to the delivery and testing and processes into production. But in terms of the collaboration, we've got to put in place some practices like things like Scrum of Scrums, and to make time for that collaboration to happen. So it actually has to be built into each team's capacity for their sprints to spend some time supporting the end-to-end quality as well. That's what they do in their own teams. When you're bringing through these applications, systems and products, you have to do that with the users in mind. So nowadays we've got a much greater view on the diversity of different user needs. So we know accessibility is important, we know usability is important, we know that there's lots of competition in the marketplace, so customers can move quite easily if you're not doing the right thing for them and your people. So it needs to be a real focus on bringing through things that meet and address all the user needs that are appropriately going to support the product, the service, the application that you want to put out into production. So yeah, every company is a technology company nowadays. So technology is there to support and drive the business forward and stimulate growth and to get products and services and applications in front of customers as quickly and effectively as possible. One of the challenges is that what's the trade-off between time, cost, risk and quality, and you need to make appropriate decisions that are right for the business and the users of the product. The quality is important for sustainable business value, because if you put in place tools or applications, products that are deficient, they've got technical debt and issues, then it makes it harder to change them. And in terms of competitive advantage, there's so much competition in the marketplace now that if you can't change quickly and respond to changing customer needs, then that's going to have an impact on you and you will lose business because somebody else will be doing it quicker. So you need an appropriate level of quality that makes it easier for you to maintain, enhance and improve the products once they're into live use. Yeah, I think there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment, mainly surrounding how artificial intelligence and machine learning will impact the industry. So I think that's going to be key over the coming months. we're not even talking about years now, but even over the coming months, we'll start to see greater use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to support the testing process, to make that better, make it more effective. We're also going to see more AI and machine learning products and services coming into the marketplace. So that brings with it some uncertainty and risk. I'm not convinced at this point in time that enough people fully understand what the risks actually are and how you need to go about testing against artificial intelligence and machine learning based products and services. So that's going to be critical. And then the other aspect of it is around synthetic data. So one of the big challenges for testing has always been getting the right data into the environment that you're testing against at the right point in time. From a business point of view, it's always been about volumes of data, realistic data sets, including some erroneous rogue data that you might get into production. So I think artificial intelligence and machine learning can really help with that synthetic data challenge, and that's something that we're already seeing come to the fore. I think we'll see a lot more of it this year and over the coming years. In terms of 2I's role in it, I think our role in it is probably around, we need to bring in tooling that can support testing with artificial intelligence as part of the process. But we also need to help clients. So, as I said, it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of uncertainty. I'm not really sure that enough people understand risks and how they go about testing, ensuring that they have an appropriate level of quality and confidence in these artificial intelligence solutions before they put them in the hands of their users and customers. So then that's going to be challenging. So we're going to have to help clients safeguard their reputations, their people and their customers as we move forward. And we've definitely got a great opportunity with the synthetic data. I think we're well placed. We've done a lot of good work with the Assure Test Data Generator, and the next step in the evolution of that is to bring in synthetic data with artificial intelligence to make that a lot faster. That will help us reduce a lot of the risks associated to testing and also help to get better test data in place for the business to conduct their validation and make sure that they feel that the solutions are fit for purpose against representative data that they would see in production. I think there's a lot of material now in the marketplace. We've referenced TMAP already, but also a lot of people are doing a lot of good work in this space. Anne-Marie Sharrett, she put forward the thinking tool around prevent, detect, recover, which we've looked at and we've incorporated into the way that we apply the risk-based assurance approach. There's also a number of other people across the industry that have helped us without maybe knowing that they've helped us. They inspire us to think about what's a good practice and apply it effectively in our context. A couple of other examples, the likes of Janet Gregory and Lisa Crispin, they've done a lot of good work in the agile quality practices space, and that's helped to inform the way that we have brought forward this blog, but also the way that we operate when we're working with the clients. So real focus on being passionate about quality. And I think bringing that passion to the engagement helps to encourage other people to get a bit more interested and passionate about it. Passion can be infectious, and it helps you to influence people. And ultimately, the reason we want to prevent is we want to help prevent those risks from becoming issues that really impact the business negatively. So it could impact their financial performance, could impact their customers, could impact their users, could impact their reputation. So really want to get into a position where everybody's thinking about it, and by thinking about it early and doing it from the outset, they can really reap the benefits for their business and their people and their customers. One of the biggest things is to actually put in place a culture and a mindset that allows quality to be part of the conversation and to think about the appropriate things from the very beginning. We cannot test quality in at the end. Quality can only be built in. It's one of the fundamental principles, the likes of the lean management processes, which have really informed Agile and DevOps. So it's absolutely fundamental that we start to put in place this quality culture, put a greater focus on prevention, and think about how the teams can collaborate and work together to really understand what is the design, how testable is that design, what risks are there that we need to address, and to look at all those quality characteristics that directly translate to a user need of some description. So things like accessibility, usability, performance, functionality, security. All of these things need to be considered and they need to be tested earlier and often throughout the delivery process. So it's really, really important to be more preventative in our thinking as we move forward. It has significant value in terms of the initial implementation, but also lays the foundation for sustainable success. You should be able to release more regularly with better quality.